Hey, how you doing? Good to see you.
Great, great seeing you. I know today we got some hot topics going on. With what's going on, 2 more weeks he gave Iran, and of course we have candidates coming on. Candidate Angela Brewer, who's running for Denton mayor. She will be on, and also we'll have Candace Venezuela will be on as well, who is running for county commissioner for Denton. They will be on later on. So, what? How is your week going so far?
It's pretty busy, pretty busy. Just busy with work mainly, and also having a Passover. I think some people follow different calendars. Some people follow the Zadok calendars, and others follow different things. But for us, we had our Passover last night, so it was good to have the whole family over and just kind of go through the routine. And basically, we have our I'm forgetting the name of the plate now, but yeah, but there's like a little booklet that I was reading from, and we just kind of went through the whole process, eating the unleavened bread and all that. So, but it was a good time. And according to the little booklet that we have, it requires you to drink 4 glasses of wine. And so it was very fun to watch my nephew, who just recently turned 21. He was just guzzling the wine, so it was kind of fun.
Okay, so
Hey,
Hey, and it just dropped in. So why was I not invited, Dale? I like wine.
Where were you drinking wine?
I was for Passover last night. I was talking about how
Oh,
my nephew, who just turned 21, the little booklet that we have has a drink 4 glasses of wine, and so my nephew was just guzzling. It's kind of fun to watch. His mom was getting a little mad, and he's like, "What? It's for God."
kids.
Yay!
So I'm hearing a
I
ton of echo.
I'm hearing a little bit of feedback. Yeah, I think Nancy's trying to share her device or headset. But in the meantime, I'm going to put the volume down lower for Kansas, and then Kansas give me a thumbs up, and I'll turn your volume back up. But yeah, Angela, tell us. We're just kind of doing intros right now, talking about our weeks rather. How's your week so far?
Wow, man. I've got an election coming up on May 2nd. So it's like drinking from a fire hose right now, y'all. we're, we're in that under 30 countdown. So it's just busy all the time.
Oh yeah, for sure, sure. Remind me when is the early voting for that, and also the voting dates for that?
Early voting begins April 20th, and then election day is May 2nd. It's a Saturday election, 7 to 7. But everybody wants to vote early because, Denton County is still doing the Denton County nonsense where you have to go to your appropriate precinct on election day, which is just a huge pain in everyone's booty to figure out what that is. So vote early, keep it easy.
Nice.
Starting April 20th.
Yeah, absolutely. But how about you, Steph? How's your week going so far?
Oh my gosh. Do we even want to get started? I'm I'm in the middle of it. It went really good. It went really good, but I have been really busy on trying to help open another locate another store somewhere, and it has been just crazy this week. So we're gonna see how this turns out, and then back on the campaign trail I go.
Yeah, awesome, awesome. I see we also have Kansas Venezuela on here. How you doing? Do you have your headset? Oops. Oh, okay. Looks like she might have jumped.
We lost her.
Okay, that's all right. Well, uh, Steph, I'll pass it back to you for the topics.
Okay. Alrighty. Well, of course, one of our hot topics is what happened last night. Listen, I was sipping my wine trying to see exactly what was going to take place. Was he planning on doing a war crime at 8 o'clock last night or not? I stayed up to see that, of course, now we got a 2 week extension on it. I'm hoping and praying that somebody around this man can talk some sense in him and we not do what he was trying to do and what happened on Easter. Oh my God, I'm just disgusted with him. How do y'all feel about that? I'm just disgusted.
Is adult language appropriate on this podcast?
Yes,
There are many adult words that I have in mind right now. Stephanie, actually, on a serious note, though, I've been thinking about you and your family because I know you have a daughter in the military. Yeah. And, you know, I get very kind of sick at heart and sick at my stomach when presidents like this threaten to do things that he's never going to have to carry out, right? He's going to send your daughter to do it. And he's going to send our sons and daughters to do this unnecessary fight, right? This fight that he started for no reason,
yeah.
and he's going to make other people pay the price. And it's devastating and it's unacceptable and it's un-American, and we have to, I mean, do all of the work that we've all been doing, keeping strong, keeping going through November so that we get some real accountability and leadership in Washington to put a stop to this shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
I
You know, it's
100% agree with you on that.
yeah, you know, it's so
Yeah,
frustrating because
I
you
agree.
know this whole thing was started as a distraction from the Epstein files. And I just want to remind everyone that over and over again. And it's just so frustrating because you know the man himself dodged the draft, and now he's going to send Stephanie's daughter over there in his place. And I'm not sure if you guys watched the full speech on Easter, but and also the interviews rather after the speech where he was asked whether or not we're going to take the oil, and he said he would like to take the oil, and it's just so blatantly illegal. I mean, I believe we were past the point of issuing. I'm blanking on the amendment. There's an amendment to remove the president when he's mentally incapacitated. And
25th. It's the
25th.
25th
25th.
Amendment.
Yeah. So
In the fourth and the seventh, we can remove the whole cabinet. They all need to go.
yeah. I mean, the thing is this: I don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist or anything, and I don't like to speculate, but it's getting so extreme to the point I almost kind of worry that maybe the intention is to escalate more and more and more, and then say, oh, well, America's at war, and so therefore we can't have elections. Like maybe he's going to try to cancel the election or martial
Dale,
law or something like that.
I don't think you're in conspiracy theory land. I was listening to Senator Mark Warner from Virginia talk about exactly that. Senator Warner put out a letter just saying, "Hey, there was a memo circulating, a draft executive order circulating around this exact idea that there's going to be some sort of interference, a call of national emergency to prevent an election from taking place." I think he was talking more about interference, like they're going to have the FBI create international interference in our elections so that then they think gives the president legal right to take over the elections. But I think putting us off kilter, right, and having so many different issues going on simultaneously just positions us to not be able to fight back against that particular plot or, yeah, plot. It is a plot to destroy democracy. It is exactly what it is, and this notion that that the fight that's going on now is at least in part in an effort to build a sense of emergency so that when they eventually call a national emergency and insist that they have to run the elections, nobody will feel surprised or taken off guard because clearly we're in an emergency.
Yeah, it's it is the type
I,
of thing where if they keep pressing more and more and more, it almost kind of normalizes. It doesn't necessarily normalize everything, but at least some of the stuff feels a little bit more normalized, right? But yeah, Kansas, I see you're back. We were talking
And
about
I can
the.
hear you this time, which
Oh,
is
cool. We can hear you. Very
amazing.
awesome. Yeah. Tell us about. We were just talking about
Yeah.
the war overseas, but go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell us how you've been.
So my name is Candice Valenzuela, and I am a proud resident of Denton County, and I'm running for Denton County Commissioner Precinct 2. And we've just finished primary season. I was unopposed in the primary, but it's really hopeful looking at Democrat versus Republican numbers. I came out of the primary with 16,000 votes versus my single Republican opponent who came out with 12,000 votes. I attribute that mostly to the enthusiasm of voters who understand that enough is enough, and they know who got us to where we are in terms of some of our lack of affordability, the fact that our sons and daughters are going off to war, the fact that we have U.S. citizens and people who are working hard in our communities getting accosted in the streets. People know who to attribute that to now. And I'm just going to work really hard to make sure that I'm here to help, that I'm here to serve. And just like everybody else on this call, we're here for the work.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah. So, and not to bring us off on a tangent, but to what Kansas was saying, I too actually got more votes in my unopposed primary than my Republican opponent in her unopposed primary, which is pretty awesome. But the fight's not over. While that feels really good, at the same time too, if you go to I think it's votedenton.gov, you can look at who the number of people who voted for the governor's race on the Democratic side versus the Republican side. And if you look for the governor's race specifically just for Denton County, there are still more Republicans who've participated in the Republican primary than Democrats who participated in the Democratic primary specifically for the governor. Now, I think I'm not sure what this means. It could be one of two things, or maybe both. Either A, Republicans when they went to the primaries, maybe they just like voted in the first couple races and did not necessarily go all the way down the ballot. Or B, maybe it's because Democrats are just pissed off enough to the point where they actually are just filling every single bubble, or perhaps both. But it's still going to be something that we need to push for and continue to advocate for. But yeah, so we
You
were.
know, we lost
Oh, sorry.
straight ticket voting after the 2019 legislative session, and I think Republicans thought that was just going to hurt us. And now they're going to see how that feels when they have a surge of new voters that may not necessarily be invested in the entirety of the ballot. It's going to be really interesting to see if they're going to want to bring that back after this election.
Yeah, yeah. It's definitely going to be. I don't know what's going to happen, but it's also many months away. I mean,
Well,
not for Angela, but for
I
us
can
it is.
definitely. I'm gonna add my little 2 cents in.
Sure. Go ahead, Steph.
Well, you know what? I had almost 16,000 votes too, Candace. Yay! But of course, I have no idea who I'm going to be running against because they have a primary in May. So we shall see. It's exciting to be able to finish that part and not have an opponent on our side, but to be able to find out who you actually going to be running against, it's going to be very interesting. So I'm like, congratulations to everyone and Angela. Oh, y'all killing me.
Ooh.
But I'm
Me?
so excited that you're running. Yes, you know why. Y'all killing me. I'm like, have y'all ever had two friends that you just want, you just love them to death and you just divide it? It's like my house. Dallas and Saints, house divided. You just don't know. And you just have to be quiet and be like, okay, I love you both.
Yeah,
I'm
I've
supporting both.
I've definitely, Brian and I deciding to run against one another has definitely put lots of folks in the community in a place to make a tough choice, for sure. And I recognize that, and I think he recognizes that. But at the end of the day, Stephanie, he and I have a really different take on what the job means, and I couldn't not run, right? Because to me, the mayor of Denton, in Denton, we have the city of Denton, we have a city manager, city council format of government, right? So we have a city manager who does the day-to-day management of running the city. The mayor's job, in my viewpoint, is to be a leader. it's a communications job. It's a job for a person like me who is really good at creating space and holding space to bring people together so that we can solve problems together and contribute all of our ideas, and everybody kind of puts their bits in, and we bring that together to some really clear goal setting. Then we put the policy in place to back up those goals so that we can reach them together. Brian really sees the mayor's job as a management job, and that's I just fundamentally disagree. And so as much as I respect Brian, I love my hometown. And we are in a position right now in Denton where we don't have time to mess around anymore. We are growing by leaps and bounds. Dozens of people are moving here every single day. In the next 15 years, this city is going to double in size. We're going to go from 170,000 to 320,000 people. And I desperately do not want to become Frisco or Prosper or Salina. We are Denton, and we are unique, and we are, I think, very special and amazing, and I want to keep that. But it takes a specific kind of leadership to do it, and that's why I'm running for mayor, because we need someone like me who's ready to go out, build the teams, gather the ideas, and hit the ground running forward toward goals we share together. We don't need someone who's great at pushing policy through city staff. So sorry I made people have hard choices, but I think they are very distinct choices. And because local politics, unlike what y'all are running for, local politics is nonpartisan. So it really isn't about the issues. It's more about style of leadership and the goals that we're setting. And that's where he and I have a lot of difference. So we've offered
Out
a
of
good
sheer
choice.
curiosity, sheer curiosity, when you say that you don't want it to be like Frisco, what are you talking about there?
I know, Dale. I'm not trying to hate on Frisco. Frisco is lovely. It's a place I enjoy visiting, but not a place I would want to live. It's a different vibe than Denton, right? Like Denton's special. Denton is not a cookie cutter community. You know, we grew up as a two college town, and we were kind of a sleepy college town for a long time, but um, we've avoided some of the growth that a lot of DFW has experienced up until now. I think primarily because the Lake Louisville is like this weird mental hurdle that people are like, oh, you get to the lake and like you're done with DFW. but in the last few years, people discovered that the bridge works and you can actually just cross the lake. And then they found out Denton's really awesome, and we have such a unique culture that is very independently minded, that is rooted in creativity and community. It's rooted in our local businesses. We're not about chains. We're not about, bringing in all of the, the best new like Starbucks or Dutch Bros or whatever. Like, I want to know where the new cool locally owned coffee shop is opening up, right? Like, if I hear there's another Starbucks opening, I want to cry a little bit and like double down over at Jupiter House because that's what makes Denton special. It makes it different. When you come into Denton, you know you're in a different community, and that you're in a unique community, and I want to preserve that spirit. Denton's actually my hometown. I grew up here, and so I feel like it's very alive in sort of my core being, right? Like a big part of who I am was made by Denton, Texas, and I really want to make sure we preserve that culture and that spirit as we get lots and lots of new neighbors moving here.
Yeah, absolutely. No, we definitely
No
have some
shame
growth
on
problems, and
Frisco. It's just
yeah,
not where we.
no, we definitely have some growth problems in Frisco. We've been
Mhm.
having to try to rebuild some of our roads, which has been getting in the way of a lot of businesses. And don't get me started on the city council thing. Our city council is being trolled right now by a bunch of groypers. Um, but I will say this, because this I think this might be a point of contention within the city of Denton. You can correct me if I'm wrong. It has to do with the 287G program. And correct me if I'm wrong. The Denton County, I do not believe we have any federal prisons. We do not have any state prisons, but we do
Yeah.
have one county prison. I think that's in Denton. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Correct.
the Denton County Jail is in Denton. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Because I know that the sheriff has been saying that they're kind of filling up right now, and the county commissioner's court has pushed forward the 287G program, which is a contract between Denton County and ICE that deputizes local law enforcement as ICE officials. Now, the interesting thing here is this, and I don't really actually fully know the details on this. I do know that city council can override county commissioners within their city precincts. For example, the current one of our current county commissioners, Kevin Faulkner, who Kansas Valenzuela is running against, when he
It's
was
gonna
the
pass.
mayor of Carrollton, he banned 287G within the city limits of Carrollton. But now that he's the county commissioner, of course, there's an R next to his name, and he just applied 287G to the entire county. Denton
Right.
County has made headlines in the news as going the farthest with the 287G ICE program. Um, I'm not quite sure. Here's what I don't know. Do you know if the Denton City Council has talked yet about 287G, or whether or not they would try to do the same thing that Kevin did when he
Yeah.
was the mayor of
So
Carrollton?
there, so our current mayor, Gerard Hudspeth, who Stephanie will not be running against in November, thankfully. He, our
Will not.
all the signs say conservative mayor of Denton. I'm like, cool, Gerard, cool. So he actually, because I would argue because he was running for county commissioner, he set up a meeting with ICE officials and with the sheriff to try and talk about the city also entering a 287G agreement with ICE, with the federal government. And the rest of the city council and the chief of police and the city manager were like, nah, bro, we're good. And so Gerard went to that meeting literally on his own. Like he had no support from anyone else on city council or within the city staff or city law enforcement. The city is very clear that the people of the city are very clear that we have absolutely no interest in working with ICE, that we are a community that loves every one of our neighbors, and we understand the value that every single human being that lives here right now brings to our community. And we are not going to snitch anyone out. That's for sure. We as far as the county's decision to work with ICE, there's not anything that the city can do about that to change that. We can only set policy for city law enforcement, but we will be very, very intentional with standing with what our police officers and our chief of police have already said that they don't want any part of any of this. They don't want to be involved in this. So not only are we standing with our community when we say no to 287G, we're standing with our law enforcement. Who also do not want to be a part of ICE enforcement. They are really interested in being community police officers and building trust and relationship in the community. They do not want to be seen as the enemy in any way. And so I think it's very clear to them that the face that they really are the heart of policing in the city of Denton is around community policing and around being a real resource for this community. And they know that agreements with ICE fly in the face of that completely, and they don't want to be a part of that. And if I'm elected mayor, certainly will be leading the. I will never, as mayor, set up any kind of a meeting having to do with ICE, other than maybe strategic ways we can make them feel
Secret
uncomfortable
meetings.
if they decide to come here. Secret meetings.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
You talking about those secret meetings?
What a mess, man.
Yeah,
I'm so glad. I am
yeah.
so glad you didn't have to run against Gerard. Like, couldn't have happened
I
to a
am
nicer guy.
too, because I don't feel like being ugly. But I will.
Right.
that
That's right.
wow. It's a hot mess. I am
Well,
too. But I got Eugene made a comment on here. I am not disgusted with him, who we talking about, as I am with his party. They didn't really come out in full force against him for his comments on Easter. There are
mhm.
times when they should have censored him. Eugene, you are absolutely right. He should have been censored day one when he took the oath. Anytime. He should have been censored anytime, but they didn't. Of course, the GOP don't have a backbone. And I feel like some of them may have something, he might have something against him, holding something against him for them not to step up and speak up. But a couple of them are coming out of their little caves and saying something, and then they run back in. They don't want to make, what do they call him, daddy? They don't want to make that troll mad. So it is what it is. But I think the best way that we can beat them is to make sure that every last one of us, Democrats and Independents, come out and vote.
Hmm.
Vote. Vote
Yep.
for vote for D. Vote all the way down.
And Stephanie, I
Because
think
we're gonna.
you just named one of the
Ma'am.
really crucial turns I think we're going to take this year, and that's with the independents. That I think the folks who
Yeah.
generally are like, meh, whatever, there's not much difference between either party. I'll just stay home, let them sort it out. I'm not going to worry about it too much because it's all about the same. I think those folks, kind of middle of the road folks, are waking up to the fact that actually, no, it's not all the same, and we have reached a place where one of these parties is just gone off the deep end, and we have to everyone's going to have to get engaged to get that back in control. And I think the independents are
Yeah.
feeling that. I think that's why we saw such great turnout for Democrats in the primary this year. I think that's why we're seeing, like, even in our municipal race, I'm seeing a ton of folks engaged in municipal elections who've told me they've never voted in a mayor's race before, but they're like really interested in it now. And I think all of that is being motivated by the fact that folks who, for a long time, when the Republican Party was kind of a normal party, they could just sort of be like, "Yeah, well, whatever," are now realizing no, they've kind of left normal behind. That MAGA faction of their party that dominates it has really left normal behind, and and everyone's going to have to get engaged now to shut that down.
Well, I can tell you this here. There is no such thing as a GOP anymore. It's all MAGA.
Yeah.
It is straight up MAGA. And the old school GOP, I think they're switching. But I
Hmm.
think every last one of our focus should be on for November 3rd is we got to make sure that we get our non-voters out to go vote, because we actually have enough votes. That's why, people, that is why they're working so hard to start stupid wars that none of our children should be in. That is why he's trying to put all these different laws and make sure people don't have access to go vote, even to the point where mail-in ballots are not even going to be turned in. That's what he's trying to do as much. But here's the thing, though, up north, where there are no place really for them to go vote at, they have to go do mail-in ballots, right? So you're hurting your own party, because half of that stake, I think, is it was not Wisconsin? What is that other? It's one of those states up there up north that is very rural, and
Hmm.
how are they going to go to a polling place? They don't have one, so they have to go mail their ballots in. And on top of that, the weather out there, they might have what, 6, 7 feet of snow. How are they going to
Yeah.
get out to go vote? Those are your people, GOP, that you're sitting up
Hmm.
here causing them not to go vote. So if you want to hold it up, let me tell you, Democrats and Independents, we're going to show up. You're
Yep.
not going to stop us. We're showing up. You can gerrymander your own people like you've been doing, because all you're doing is hurting your folks.
Yep. You know what I learned recently? Um, in the same vein, if they're hurting themselves and they can't really, I don't know why they haven't figured it out. And maybe Stephanie and Candace, when they get on our county commission, can start making some changes on this. The idea of countywide voting on election day is, I mean, we need this, right? Like, most big counties have this, where on election day you can show up to vote at countywide voting centers the same way that you do during early voting. Like, there's no reason to keep election day polling sites as like isolated to just the people of that precinct voting in that spot. And my friend Jane Stoltz, I know y'all know Jane out at Robeson Ranch. Jane is a huge proponent, and she's been fighting hard on
Yeah.
getting countywide voting for election day in Denton. And she worked with the elections officials over in elections administration to collect data on who was being turned away on election days. So during the primary last year, I think they were able to collect data on how many people on election day got turned away because they came to the wrong spot. And it was more Republicans than Democrats who showed up at the wrong polling site. So I was like, well, that's interesting. Maybe with this data point, our county commissioners will get a little more interested and making voting easier for everyone. I keep
Yeah,
hoping. I keep hoping reason will like.
yeah,
I'm like now
Angela,
it's
I don't think that's gonna change
crazy. Like
until Candace and I take seat.
yeah, yeah. I can tell you that it's not going to change under the leadership of Melinda Preston. Melinda Preston is the leader of the Denton County Republican Party, so it's kind of like the Republican version of Delia Parker Mims, and she has testified to the Denton County Commissioners Court multiple times. If she had her way, then we wouldn't have countywide voting even during the early voting period. If she had her way, what she advocates for is removing the electronic voting tabulators and have all votes counted by hand.
yeah,
It's pretty out there stuff, and it's kind of interesting because both Melinda Preston and also I think this is before she was the chair, but Melinda Preston before she was the chair was testifying a long time ago, back when a guy named Rob Marchant was the one of the Denton County commissioners. This is a predecessor to Kevin Faulkner, so this is a little bit back in the day. Uh, but uh, one of the Republican precinct chairs was claiming that, like, we got to take the power back from the county commissioners, like, even though all the county commissioners are Republican, right? And so at one point, Rob Marchant, like, kind of, he doesn't necessarily lose it, but he does get like pretty agitated, and he basically saying, it's like, what is going on here? Like, why is our own party attacking us? He was literally like going into that. You can tell the guy was frustrated at his own party. It's interesting to see that happen, from a county commissioner live on camera in the court. So, but like I think there's the the county commissioners have been told by Republican precinct chairs and by Melinda Preston long before she was even the chair to remove electronic voting tabulators, and they haven't. And I think it's because they know that that's like impossible. Like they will never be able to get elections actually done. And they've also been told to take away county-wide voting during the early voting period, and they haven't done that. And I think it's because they know that that would just be too chaotic. Um, one funny story is that the current Denton County judge, Andy Eads, he actually once showed up to the wrong voting location and had to be redirected. So that's kind of funny there. But yeah, I don't see them changing their minds because I think
yeah,
they feel threatened by their county chair. So the only way to really get it is to flip seats, and it's possible. There's 5 members of the Denton County Commissioners Court, 3 of which are up for re-election, including the judge. So if we can flip all 3 of those seats, then Democrats gain control. We can finally get our county-wide voting back. But it's not going to happen until we flip those seats.
yeah. And the
Yeah.
city of Denton needs the county commission to work better with us right now because we in the city, we have homelessness response going on
Mhm.
that is effective. We're doing a pretty good job. We could be doing better with more funding, and we are taking care of homeless population that's actually coming from all over the county, in part because we do have the county jail here. And so often what happens is someone who is arrested, who is unhoused, who goes through a process and has to spend any time in county jail, then gets released, and they were released in Denton. And so often they stay. And so we have kind of an unusually high number of unhoused neighbors in Denton. And we have tried in the past to get the county commission to work with us to help do some of the financial support for our shelter and for the casework projects that are going on. Our shelter is doing a really cool program where every person who comes to stay at the shelter gets a caseworker and gets wraparound services and gets help getting a job and gets help really getting into the path to moving into housing. And it's awesome. But right now they only have the capacity for about 125 people, and they need a capacity of about 600 or 700. And that is it's a big gap, and it's a gap that right now is falling on the citizens of the city of Denton to support most of the financial burden of supporting our unhoused population and helping them rebuild their lives and get them into more stable situations. So I'm looking forward to a new set of county commissioners for a lot of reasons, but maybe that most importantly affecting the city of Denton specifically in our relationship with the county.
Yeah, and we kind of we have the budget for it, because we are seeing a massive population spike here in Denton County. We have now surpassed over 1 million people who live in the county. So to put that into perspective, there's 2 million people who live in Dallas County, 2 million people who live in Tarrant County. That's where Fort Worth is, and we just passed 1 million. So, and same thing with Collin County, to our neighbors. And there's a massive population spike. I try to avoid Highway 380 like the plague because there's so much construction, right? But with all that construction, means a huge influx of people.
Yeah.
It was kind of interesting. U-Haul releases its GPS information upon like where all the trucks come from and go
Really?
to every year.
Yes.
And I think it was year before last they found out the number one place where people actually move to Texas from is actually Oklahoma, which I found to be really fascinating. But the other two statistics is that for the longest time, both California and Texas were the two top states in the country with the largest population spikes, like the most amount of incoming people, both being born and also being moved to. And now Texas is actually number one. So we used to be tied with California, but now we are the number one place where people are moving to. So with all of these new individuals and all this construction and new people, we definitely have the budget in Denton County. So we should definitely be able to fund those programs.
Needs to be better.
Yeah.
Definitely.
This is not.
Kansas.
Yes. Hi, Candace.
Hey.
Are you okay?
Oh, I'm not sure if we can hear her. Wait, let me make sure
Oh,
that that's
we
not my
can't even.
fault. Uh, you might need to switch to a different microphone, Steph. I'm not quite sure, but yeah. Okay, we were just talking about the.
You pulled her off.
So what? Oh, I'm sorry.
Her mic is free. Well, she's gone.
Okay, no, sorry. That was my fault.
What happened?
Um, yeah, just go ahead and play with your settings, and we'll let you know when we can hear you, Kansas. Um, so yeah, I mean, there's a lot going on, but the Denton County is growing in size. It's growing in population, and so it's a good problem to have, I think. But with the ever increasing budget, we should be able to help out with some of these programs, like Meals on Wheels, for example, is another program that I know. I think is headed by Ernest Limberger, which is another thing to absolutely fund as well. But Stephanie, I'll pass it back off to you.
But okay, so since we're on the county, let's talk about Dallas County GOP primary issues. So, according to social media, of course, the current county chair, GOP, they're wanting to remove him because of the, how can I say this being polite? Because of the screw up that he did during primary, they want him gone. And I'm like, I don't know who else is they're gonna put to replace him, but definitely that was such a blind person could have told him that is the worst thing that you could have ever done. I don't know who told him to do it, but he did, and he messed up the election. So, a lot of times folks try to do something to hurt another individual and wind up hurting themselves. You know, I don't care
Mhm.
how hard you try to come at the Democrats, you keep hurting yourself. You keep hurting your people because you don't get it. What you do to try to take away from a Democrat, whether it's SNAP benefits, guess what? You're hurting your GOP people as well because they're on SNAP too. Whether you're trying to hike up the affordable living for them to make it where it's not affordable, guess what? You're hiking it up for your GOP people as well too. The price of milk, the price of God, the price of gas. You're not hurting just us. You're hurting your own people. So everything that you throw at us, you keep hurting your people. It's like you slapping yourself in the face and don't even feel it, even though you got a left one. You just keep slapping your face for no reason. It's just stupid. But Candace, I could go on and on about it. I just think they're a hot mess and they really need to rethink about the way how they're doing. But I don't care about them. All I care about is making sure that Democrats and independent people get the representation that they need, and that we do right and make a change, especially in Denton County and throughout Texas. We need a change, y'all. We have to have a change. We've been doing this for 30 years, and they can't get right, and they want to blame all their affliction on Democrats and independents when they're the ones that's holding the crown. Y'all are holding the crown. Y'all the ones that are in charge for 30 years. I want to be free. I want to be free from this bondage that we're up under. Free us. Y'all, please go out and vote in November. And don't forget about November. We got elections coming up in May. We got runoffs going on. We have ISD elections going on. We have the mayor race because we got Angela on here. She's running for mayor of Denton. Get
Yes.
out and go vote, man. Just go vote. Go vote. You got good people that's on the ballot that want to fix the problems that we have, and they're okay about being held accountable. So we know that if we don't do the job, y'all gonna fire us, right?
Right.
So I want to get the job before I get fired. Go ahead, Candace.
I'll mention while I have the chance, we have elections May 2nd for municipals,
Hmm. Oh,
right?
I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Please restart. I saw there was a volume issue, but I just fixed it. Go ahead, Kansas.
Thank you. Okay. So we have May 2nd municipal elections. Okay. We have May 26th. We have a runoff election for the Democratic primary. Okay. And then November 3rd is going to be the election where you can vote for most of us. You'll, except for Angela, you'll vote for May 2nd. But for most of us on this call, we're going to be depending on your vote on November 3rd.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I
And
think
I
this is a good
can't
time
make
too
this
to
stuff
remind
up.
everyone that this is not a red state. It's a non-voting state where only half of those, half of our population is registered to vote, and of those, only half of them even show up to the voting booth. So it's very frustrating. But it's interesting too because in the last primary we saw Democrat turnout I think like almost tripled, and so that also goes to show that yes, Democrats do exist. So, but it, you really got to get out and vote. The reason the Republicans have the power isn't because there's more of them. It's because Democrats just are not showing up to the voting booth. If we show up to the voting booth, we can make a difference.
Yes, I agree with you 100%, Dale. I agree. So let's go back to this topic. So we're talking about ballots, y'all. So over in California, the sheriff, I didn't know he had this kind of power, but obviously he does. In California, went to the administration office and got the ballots, and he wants his sheriffs to hand count the ballots in his county. Now, this particular sheriff, he's running for governor of California. What he said, I will be voting if your name is on the ballot. You get my vote. All righty then, Eugene. All right. But yeah, make that make sense. They are getting ridiculous. So if we're having all of these Republican people that won their race, how is it that all of a sudden now there's a problem with the ballots? You guys won. If anybody needs to be saying that there was a problem, somebody cheated, it should be the Democratic Party, right?
It's really
I'm just
funny
saying. I
because
can't
they were
make this
talking about doing a recount during the 2020 election. There were elected officials in Texas who said we should do a recount. Biden didn't get that close. And I said, yes, we should do a recount all the way down the ballot, Beth Van Dyne. That'd be great. These folks are always calling into question the elections, even as when it's in their own interest not
Mhm.
to.
Mhm.
It
Mhm.
is wild to me.
Yep.
Candace, we can't make this stuff up. There are special need people
Yeah,
that come up with this stuff. So let's move on over. Okay, we still got
They're
a little bit.
definitely special interests.
Yes, very, very special. So we already done talked about the 2 week grace period that the orange man gave them. Okay, so as a person that have family members that's in the military, as a person I just love my military people. I do. Whether I have people that served or not serving, I just love our military. I think we have the best military in the world. I really do. But our military people are very stressed right now because they're being put in situations where they have to maybe break the law, and it's going to be war crimes. And it seemed like the Democratic Party leaders weren't doing anything, but as of yesterday and today, they have been sliding bills up left and right, trying to put the 25th on him to get him out. And I'm going to say this, and I'll repeat it again. You don't need to just do the 25th. You need to do the Fourth Amendment and the Seventh. Everybody needs to be gone because these people have put our country in jeopardy.
Yeah.
I can't even go out of town. I went out of town the week, what was it, last week, and I was concerned. I'm looking up in the sky because I knew I was near base, and I'm looking up in the sky saying, okay, is this going to be the day that they try to hit this base? You know, and it's ridiculous that you as a person, that's what you think when you going out somewhere. We shouldn't be living in fear, but that's where this guy is putting us in, is where we're living in fear. And then you looking at your children or your grandkids or your neighbor kids or just kids that you just know that are 18 to, I think it's 42 now, that they could actually get caught up in the draft. They did not sign up to go into the military. They didn't. I just feel like Congress and the Senate, y'all need to do your freaking job. If you do not hold this man and this administration accountable come November 3rd, y'all will be fired. Period. You're going to be fired. GOP, get the monkey out your ass and do your job and hold his ass accountable. What
Hmm.
is it going to take for you to do your job? To something happen over here? It's possible that something could possibly happen over here. They don't have to hit us with a missile. They can hack our internet.
Right.
They
Yeah,
could jack us up big time. So I'm
that
gonna
ac-
get off that soapbox and let y'all go on it.
yeah, that actually happened. So my sister-in-law, she actually works for a company called Stryker. It's a medical equipment company, and
Right.
they actually did get hacked, and the data was held ransom, and apparently it was actually Iran who did that. So it is very true that it's not just weapons, but also as we're so tied into the internet and it has we become increasingly more dependent on machines. Some of these hacks can actually be very, very serious. But
Dale, especially if you one of those people who have heart monitors and stuff, they can
Mm.
and any type of electronics that you have, people
Hmm.
who are on insulin, it could affect all of them.
Yep.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah, absolutely. It's why information security is so absolutely important. And sometimes I feel like some machines need to just be taken offline. you know,
I
I
agree.
sometimes feel like we're a little bit too connected. For example, like I, I I thought I was being fancy. I replaced every single light bulb in my house with a smart bulb, right? So I can control the brightness and the color, and I can turn my house into an instant party zone if I wanted to, because they can all change to different colors, right? But at the same time, too, I do need to be aware. It's like, oh well, those things are connected through the Wi-Fi, which means those light bulbs have a full-blown operating system on them, right? So, and they're all connected to the Wi-Fi, and it's like I've heard some people talk about in your home you should create what's called like an OIT network, or an Internet of Things that some people call it, and try
Mm.
to like keep your devices on that separate Wi-Fi uh, network, because the concept is this: if someone could hack into like one of my light bulbs, right? Let's say, for example, so the light bulbs are both Wi-Fi enabled and also Bluetooth enabled. So if someone was to hack into my light bulb through Bluetooth, well, if that thing's on my Wi-Fi network, it can packet sniff my Wi-Fi network and spy up on my internet traffic and from my computer, right? So it's definitely interesting that we live in a very technically connected world, and when wars start to happen, it's not just missiles, but it's also the internet warfare as described. So it is a subject to really take seriously.
I was listening this morning to Rachel Maddow's show on podcast while I was getting ready to go this morning, and she started. I think this was her Monday night show. So if any of y'all watch MSNBC, you probably already heard this. But she started by talking about rabies, and I was like, and y'all know how Rachel is. Like she always starts at one place and then connects a very long set of dots together, and then you're like, wow, how did she do that? So she started with talking about rabies and about how at that the CDC is our country's like rabies experts, right? Like if you are bit by an animal somewhere in the United States and you are afraid you possibly could have contracted rabies, like your healthcare provider would go to the internet, go to the CDC, they would give you a page that give your doctor a page that says this is how you need to collect a sample, and then you send your sample to the CDC and we find out if you have rabies. They fired all those people, all the
except
people
for
at the
one.
CDC who deal with rabies, right? And the reason I'm bringing this up now is because internet and that sort of online style of warfare scares me, but biological warfare scares the ever living daylights out of me. Um, and and opening ourselves up to this sort of a vulnerability at the same time that you're eliminating all of the scientists who might know how to do something about it is extra scary, right? Like, um, yeah. So, yeah, it doesn't have to be bombs falling on us to really, really cause us really serious harm and suffering in our country. So,
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. It's interesting. So rabies actually can take charge really, really quickly. I noticed that, and also too when you mentioned, oh, they fired all those people. I'm getting deja vu because I believe this has happened before. Before the pandemic, Obama had a some sort of team to take care of pandemics, and Trump
mhm,
said like, "Oh, we're going to fire all those people," and then a pandemic happened. So
mhm,
but yeah, but rabies is something to take very seriously. There's just this story that I was watching on Reddit of this guy. He was worried. He was basically asking for legal advice. By the way, please don't ask for legal advice on Reddit or the internet. Go to a lawyer. But he was asking for legal advice because basically he was worried about whether his wife could take legal action against him because her daughter got bitten by some animal that was like looking like really like foaming. I don't know if it was foam at the mouth or what, but like it looked like that animal had rabies. And the
He looked
wife
like
apparently
Cujo.
is sorry.
He looked like Cujo.
I'm not sure. But the wife apparently was an anti-vaxxer, and the wife was basically like saying like, do not bring her to the hospital because like she didn't believe in that kind of stuff. Now the father took the daughter to the hospital anyways, right? And good on him because I mean rabies works really really quickly. But he was like worried about like about his anti-vaxxer wife taking legal action against him. Now, in the end of the day, the people were talking about it, and it seems like the general consensus is that no uh, no legal action could be taken. I mean, the girl was bitten, the father was taking action to take care of his daughter. But yeah, if you get bitten and you're worried about rabies, take very fast action because apparently that's a very that stuff will take over your system very quickly. I believe it's also why we actually do have like laws. I don't know if it's a state law. I think it might be a state law to basically say if you're going to have your dog brought to a doggy daycare, like my wife and I are about to do next week, we have to prove that they have their Bordetella, they have and their rabies shot. And cause I'm noticing that because every single doggy daycare place I go to uh, always requires that, and they will not take your dogs if unless you have those proofs. So I'm pretty sure there's a state law, which is a good thing because
Yeah.
rabies can travel very quickly. and so can bordetella and distemper as well. Distemper could be a death sentence to animals. But anyways, I don't mean to go off on the tangent. I just heard about rabies, and I was thinking about all of the things where they're fluffy animals. But
Dale, it's so much stuff that we could talk about. We could be on here another 2 or 3 hours, but we're not.
Mhm.
Well, the little time we have here, Angela, we're gonna put Angela up here and let her talk about her campaign and why people should vote for you and
Yeah.
what do you bring to the table?
Yeah, so thanks, Stephanie. Thanks, Dale. It's so good to be on with y'all tonight. I always am glad when we get to connect and chat about what's going on in the world and more than just chatting about what's going on, really thinking about the solutions to those problems. Like what is it that's in our hands right now to have an effect and to make change and do things, improve things on, because I'm not a complainer. I don't like to sit back and complain and then just let somebody else figure it out. I'm a person who's like, hey, let's figure out what's going wrong and then let's figure out what we can do together to fix it. And that's why I'm running for mayor of Denton. Like I said earlier, this is my hometown. I grew up in Denton. It is a huge part of who I am. It really kind of built my core. I'm going to tell you kind of a quick story. Maybe a little bit not so quick. But anyway, we moved to Denton when I was 11. And my mom went to work for the county hospital here. She went to work for Flo Memorial Hospital. And she did childbirth and prenatal care for women without health insurance in our community. And within a couple of years of us being here, it actually went up to a vote for the county to decide whether or not it was going to continue to fund Flow, and it actually failed that vote, and so the hospital shut down. What I saw happen then when I was about 12 or 13 years old is I saw my mom and a lot of her friends get together to create a nonprofit organization to continue the care. And so they were able to open a prenatal clinic and a birth center. They continued the care they had been doing in the public hospital, instead through a nonprofit organization. They had 3 or 4 midwives on staff there. They were able to take lots of really good care of lots of families in this community for years and years and years. I share this because of my age when it happened. Like I said, I was like 12, 13 years old. What I've learned as an adult, I have my second master's degree is in education. And when I was taking child development classes, what I found out about kids' brains is in that window, in that sort of tween, early teen years, children's brains are really setting their moral compasses in place. Like you're becoming pretty concrete on what you believe about the world, and what you think is right and wrong. Those really become very like fundamental and put into your core being, and they don't change a lot over the rest of your life. So what happened for me when I was in that very pivotal stage of development is I watched my community of Denton, Texas come together to solve problems to make things better for our neighbors. That's what I saw happen. It's a fundamental piece of who I am and how I see the world, that our job is to be here to care for one another in community. That's the kind of mayor I want to be for Denton. I believe there is not a single problem going on in this community that the people of Denton can't fix when we work together. We are an incredibly bright, talented, creative community full of tons of ideas. It's actually been my favorite part of running for mayor is that people keep coming and telling me all of their cool ideas. My friend Clay the other day was telling me, he's like, I think we need like a demonstration farm, like a city-owned property that's kind of like a park, but it's a demonstration farm, and we can work with 4-H clubs and the high schools. And then I'm like, that's so cool. I would have never ever thought of that. But my friend Clay, who's a master naturalist, and interested in agriculture and saving those pieces of Denton's history, he put all of that together and came up with this cool idea, right? This is what I want to do over and over and over again as mayor, is bring folks together to share their creative ideas so that we can preserve the spirit of this community as we grow and grow and grow. So that's why I'm running for Denton. That's why I'd love to have your vote. Early voting starts April 20. Election day is May 2nd. There are 4 people running for mayor. It's an open seat, like we discussed earlier. Our mayor, Gerard Hudspeth, he was term limited out, so he ran for county commission placed for and did not win that primary. So he is actually out of a political job as of May or possibly June. So chances are no one's going to cross 50% on May 2nd. So we're probably going to go into a runoff with the top two vote getters in the mayor's race. We actually have a couple of other races on our city council right now who have three candidates. So it's the potential we could have runoffs in several of our races. I don't know that it's a likelihood, but there is the potential for that. So it's likely in the mayor's race. It's possible in some of our other council races. So we might not have a final answer on who the next mayor of Denton is until June 6th is when the runoff would happen. So hopefully on May 2nd, I get first or second place, and then I get to do one more month of campaigning, getting to talk with all of my neighbors about their cool ideas about the future of Denton and like where we're going to go together, and then hopefully pull that together out on June 6th. If you want to find out more about my campaign, about where I stand on all the issues, we have, well, you can come out live tomorrow. The League of Women Voters is hosting their forum tomorrow in the City Council chamber at 7 p.m. So I'd love to see you there on Thursday night. And you can also definitely visit my website. It's angelabrewerfordenton.com. There's tons of information there. There's some videos of me there just sharing my ideas on the major issues of the day. I also have a very active Facebook presence, so follow me on Facebook. It's Angela Brewer for Denton on Facebook, so come find me there and follow along and just keep up with what we're doing because I'm sharing stuff every day that I'm excited about and that I hope we can bring into existence for the future of this community that I love so much.
I'm gonna say this. I'm so happy for you. I'm just happy for all the candidates that are running, and I wish you all the best. I just hate that I got two of my favorites sitting up here running against each other. But you know
Mm,
what? I support everybody.
Thanks, Stephanie.
I support everybody because I think, you know what? Great minds think alike. And I really believe that now in Denton County, we have an opportunity to not only to elect a good mayor, we also have down ballots people that are very good. Like Paige Dixon just got elected tonight. She is now, dun, 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 she's on the ISD board of Carrollton,
Mhm.
correct?
No,
Is it
Louisville.
Carrollton?
She's a
Louisville.
Louisville
I don't know why I
ISD.
keep in Carrollton.
Yeah.
So she is now on the board. So we listen,
Mm,
kids, if you wanted somebody to stand up and speak up for you, Paige Dixon is one of those ones that's definitely going to
mm,
speak up for you. And now Sheila got some help. So I'm very excited for our ISDs up here that they got some good people that's going to make sure that they're being taken care of. Trust and believe. And here we are with Mr. Dale Frey. Dale, I'm so happy that you're actually running for office. But let me tell you something, Dale.
good.
So my son got a letter for him to go appear at court, and it came from the clerk of Denton. And I'm like, oh my goodness, it don't have Dale's name on it. Dale, I can't wait till you get elected. Don't send my son to to jury duty. He does not need to go to jury duty. I don't like jury duty either, but he definitely don't need to be going to jury duty. He's horrible. He's going to probably go to sleep. But Dale, go ahead and talk about what you got going on, and we're gonna wrap this bad boy up. Angela, I'm so happy to have you on here. And Candace, I know I just love you, Dale. We're gonna have to get this electronic stuff fixed. Dale, you're up.
Absolutely, absolutely. Sorry, I was trying to find my unmute button, but yeah. Before I talk about my campaign, there's two entities that I want to plug real quick. First is the Frisco Democratic Club. The Frisco Democratic Club. We have two events every month. We have a breakfast club and a happy hour, and this coming Monday is our breakfast club, and we have candidates who typically show up, and you get to meet the candidates on the ballot. We have a mayoral race coming up, and we also have a Frisco school board race coming up. And I know at our last breakfast club, one of our mayoral candidates showed up, and so she may again. But this coming Monday, 8:30 a.m. is the Frisco Democratic Club Breakfast Club. Find out more information about us at friscodemocrats.org. Aside from that, I also want to plug Progressive Leaders Toastmasters. Progressive Leaders Toastmasters is a Toastmasters club where you can feel free to talk about politics, unlike most other Toastmasters clubs where you might be a little bit nervous about talking about politics. Democrats are absolutely welcome at the Progressive Leaders Toastmasters. If you want to find out more information about us, you go to Facebook, you look up Progressive Leaders Toastmasters. We meet every single Monday at 7 p.m., both in person and online. So if you just want to check out what the Toastmasters program is like online, you can join us via Zoom. And that said, I just need to plug my name is Dale Frey, and I'm running for office for the position of the Denton County Clerk. It's a very consequential role, especially with this SAVE Act that is trying to be passed through the Senate right now. If the SAVE Act passes, it's going to disenfranchise many, many young adults. Because if the SAVE Act passes, then your driver's license will not be good enough in order to register to vote. So all the young adults who get their driver's licenses at the age of 16, 2 years later, they're going to find out that that alone is not enough to register to vote. You will need a passport. Now, the county clerk, particularly in Denton County, oversees all the passport offices. So should this SAVE Act pass, it will be my personal mission to make sure that we socialize the cost of obtaining a passport. Because when an 18-year-old kid finds out that his driver's license is not enough, when he finds out
Mm.
he needs to now get a passport to register to vote, that's going to cost him more than $150. And that's a lot of money to some young adults. So socializing the cost for a passport, I believe, will be one of my top priorities as your Denton County clerk. If you want to find out more information about me, you come to freyfortexas.com. That's FREY for Texas.com. And as always, Stephanie, it's been a pleasure.
Alrighty, all of my let's talk about it, Steffi folks. It is oh, it's look, we're past the time. It's 8:06. So I'm a spotlight Candace. Candace is running for Denton County Commissioner Precinct 2. She is wonderful. She's very knowledgeable and she cares about what's going on in her community and she will fight for you. So go to at Candace Run and check her out. Check her out. She's good people. Vote for her come November 3rd. And of course, yes, I am running for Dayton County Commissioner Precinct 4. You can always find out what's going on with me. You know, I tell y'all everything anyway, but you can always go to draperfortexas.com and follow me, volunteer. Let's go. And let me know what you think. So I'm going to wrap this on up. Thank you all for all of your support, listening to us. Y'all, we have gotten up to almost 100 views. So let's keep this bus going. We got to get more people on here and spread the love and the word of what's going on in Texas and around the world. But we can't do it without you. So please make sure that you like, subscribe, and share the love. You never know who we're gonna have on here. But I got one big secret to tell. I can't hold water right now. But let me tell you, we got Vicky going, who is running for Texas Lieutenant Governor. She will be on here next Wednesday. Yes, yes, and
That's gonna be awesome.
yes. So make sure that next Wednesday, y'all tune in at 7 o'clock. Do not be late because Miss Goodwin will be on here and she's going to let y'all know why she is the better person for the job of Lieutenant Governor. Y'all do know whoever the governor is, and if something happens, we need a lieutenant governor that's actually smart, that knows what's going on.
And the lieutenant governor of Texas has more power than the governor of Texas. So we need Vicky for sure to step into that role and hold it down over at the Capitol.
Exactly. Exactly. Thank you, Angela, for coming on here. Thank you, Candace, for coming on here as well.
Yeah.
We will see y'all back. We're gonna have to bring you back on here, Angela. We'll bring you back. We'll bring you back. But
Can't wait. It'll be fun.
good luck. Good luck.
Always is. Thanks,
Hey, I'm
Stephanie.
gonna have both of y'all pamphlets. Love y'all. Have a
Love
good
you
one.
too.
See you, Dale. Dale, have a good vacation.
Fun. Have fun. Bye, y'all.